we come before you tonight asking for your wisdom, knowledge, and discernment for those representing us to know your will for Princetown. We ask your peace and unity that only you can give. Thank you for working your will in our town. Bless those who represent us and their families. We pray, as your word says, blessed is the nation whose God is the Lord. We declare this for our town. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, roll call. Go ahead.
Councilwoman Blessing. Here. Councilman Como.
Here.
Councilman Dugan is absent tonight. Councilman Jacaruso. Supervisor Moore.
Here. Also present, Town Attorney Amy Nichols, Deputy Supervisor Lee White. Okay, we did backwards. We're supposed to do that first. All right. Verizon Wireless Tower discussion. You're up.
Excellent. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Again, my name is Dave Brennan with the law firm of Young Summer out of Troy. With me today is Will Brooking from Aerosmith, site acquisition. And we're back for a brief update, I think, tonight. When we were here at the March 10th meeting, we did an overview and presented some additional information. And over the weekend, I sent in a letter. I know Mr. Cole, I think, his email has been out of town, hopefully enjoying some vacation. We did respond to a couple last open comments that were pending, and those were in a letter presented to the board. Basically, the couple high points I'd like to discuss with the board are, there was a comment at the public hearing that this was going to be, this proposed telecommunications tower was going to be at its proposed height of 150 feet, was going to be the tallest structure in the view shed. That never seemed to be entirely correct to us, so we went out and surveyed the existing transmission towers that go up and down immediately adjacent to it. And they're, in fact, they're 109, the tallest set closest to it are 194 feet tall, or 40 feet taller than this tower. So we wanted to point that out with respect to the mass scale, and they're also 170 feet across because they're twin towers with large cross arms. The board also discussed at one of the prior meetings a request for some additional consideration of what could be done with the tower to mitigate it visually, and we discussed that proposing it as a 50-foot tree was not going to fly, that was going to seem out of character. And I did suggest to the board that there is the ability to order the tower painted or to paint it and paint the antennas a different color, which is done in the Adirondack Park. So we provided a set of simulations showing both the standard galvanized steel, which weathers to kind of a matte gray, versus a darker gray called Thunder Gray that the Adirondack Park requires us to typically use. And so I put those in for the board's consideration as to two different alternatives. If there was a preference between the two, we could certainly do that. Another concern that was pointed out at the meetings and in comments was there is some visibility of the tower from the property, the two properties that sit to, I'll call it to the west on Quackenbush Road, and that how do we screen that? And what we've done successfully in the past is there's no way to screen that at base, and so what we have done in the past is we've offered to make a donation to those homeowners. Actually, there's two of them, I believe, that have different viewpoints of it, where we could provide a donation that they could buy 2 or 3 or 4 screening trees, because the one property showed that there was kind of a nice row of screening, but there was one gap in the middle where there was a concern that it could be seen to do some infill on that gap and provide some screening. So that's what I've done once or twice over the years when that sort of mitigation presented itself, we don't have the rights to go on their property and plant them. We don't even have rights to go on to the Blessings property and use anything other than our lease area. And complicating my life, sometimes people ask us to screen the base of these towers. We have no water, we have no one there to water it, so what we've typically done is gone out time after time to replace dead trees. But what we've done successfully elsewhere is to provide an amount of money to let a property owner buy 2 or 3 trees and plant those and provide for that screening. We also did, we have, the board has an obligation under the State Environmental Quality Review Act to go through and conduct a secret analysis. We provided a draft negative declaration for the board and Mr. Nichols' consideration. And so those are the initial items. I have one that was given to me today by our RF engineer, who I'll have come to the next meeting, because I suppose with Mr. Cole not having a chance to look at this, my understanding is we'll be coming back at the next meeting, which is perfectly fine. He did a line of sight diagram. The lingering question was, we're asking for 150 feet, and the code says 140 is the assumed maximum height. And our RF engineers provided, I'll call it a line of sight diagram showing with where the property is and the height of that tower and the stand of trees to see over the set of trees. We're looking kind of through the trees if we get lower and we lose coverage. And so I'll hand this out and let the board take a look at that offline. But he did provide and I'll email it to Mr. Cole, but he did provide a diagram to give some additional graphic approach to why the tower was at this proposed height to see over the stand of trees to the east and the loss in coverage that results from it. I'll email it around. The email copy would be a little bit easier to decipher, but the darker green to the bottom is showing where he'll start losing coverage through the trees that he's trying to provide. So to provide some additional basis for the RF necessity for the 150 feet.
So it needs a variance, correct?
It needs a waiver under the second. Right.
Yeah, so the town board is authorized to grant waivers and on good cause shown, so we're trying to build a case to show why. And I would combine it with the fact that we're not, there's 40 feet taller structures of 200 feet from us, that there is an RF perspective for it. And then the last thing, which is harder to articulate, is that, but it's in my letter, is that we believe that if you push it to 140, it becomes less beneficial to the other carriers to come out and co-locate, because their spots are even lower, and it's less likely to be something that they'll want to use, which will result in one of two things: either an extension of that tower, which is not normally favored, or another tower someplace else, which is what your code is trying to avoid. So that was my brief update. I'm happy to stay as long as you want me to stand up here. I'm happy to make my exit and come back at the next meeting, but I'm happy to field any questions.
I think you said that you were willing to do $750 for 2 houses if there are
Each, yes.
Each, okay.
Yeah, when I initially wrote that up, I was thinking of the one, but I think, I don't go to landscapers all that often, but it would seem to me that would be some reasonably nice tree, 3 reasonably nice trees plus some additional money beyond that at $750 each. And I think after I wrote that, I was concerned of, and I apologize, I don't have its NAP and one other owner that I don't have memorized, but we would do that by 2 if they're both showing some visibility.
And you'd be willing to make that communication with them and let them know?
I would, we can, I think half of them are here, but certainly we can do that. And what I would normally do is ask the board, we have addresses for the other family. Yeah, it's best, right? Thank you. And so we can put that in a letter, but we would ask the board to pose that as a condition of approval, and that makes my life a little bit easier in explaining it to the client. But I've got authorization for that.
Okay. Questions?
I have one question that I kind of failed to ask in the prior meeting. proposed 150. Our law says 140, but on the maps you gave us originally with the coverage area, you didn't show what 140 would give us. You went from 125 to 150. Is there that much of a difference between 140 and 150?
Yeah, the sections of the tower are 25 feet. Not serious. Okay. Right, the sections of the tower are
Right, but the
25
coverage.
feet.
I think this is probably, no, they're longer, I think they're longer than 25 feet, but, and we do them all different. Usually it does come in sort of, you know, increments of 5. I think it's typically 2 sections, like 70 feet or 75 feet each. You know, I've only seen a couple of them go up in my lifetime. The real reason is that the plots don't do the 10-foot increments justice, and so it becomes hard to see basically pixels on the edge of it. So, you know, is it a go to the mat sort of thing on 140 to 150? No, the RF engineer's not gonna pick that fight. He did come through today with a line of sight diagram showing that when you put a 150-foot tower on the ground next to the trees, you're looking down through the trees to the one direction to document this. And the code speaks to the fact that it was, I believe it was based on an assumed height of 80 feet for the tree line around it, and then probably 90, 100, whatever the increments were to get up to the 140 max. And what's different here is the trees are actually at a higher elevation next to us, they're not at the same elevation or lower. And then again, if I could site one of these next to power lines every time in my career, it's the right spot to put it, but those things are 194 feet, and so, you know, I've got to believe that they're entirely, you know, visible to the neighbors. We'll do what we can to provide screening of what we're adding. I've got no quarrel with that, but the 10-foot difference is, you know, at the end of the day, if the board said no, it's 140, you know, he thinks we're going to lose coverage, and that's what that shows, and so we think we've demonstrated the need for it. And I also think what happens is the next carrier in is going to be worse off than us and probably won't get used. But I'm sorry, but we have the 10-foot increment discussion. I've got it going on with another community right now with their consultant saying, show us plots at 10 foot. And it's like you're circling pixels on the edge trying to show it. That's why he does 25 foot, so you can really see the difference.
Okay. We're all set, Dave.
Yeah, I'm happy to leave. Just could I confirm, because this has happened to me once, this is going to be the end of the discussion for tonight. I mean, if there's more discussion about it, I will need to stay.
Did we close the public hearing or is it still?
Oh, I'm happy to stay. It's just that I had one of my partners cover a meeting for me once. He left up north someplace by Watertown, and he said, oh yeah, he called me up, hey, we got approved, and then the minutes came out that they decided to continue discussing it as he was in the car ride back, and they decided to deny it after he left. So I think we've got a good relationship, but if there's going to be further deliberation, I should say, if this is it for the agenda. My kids are old enough, they'll be away when I get home.
You guys want to add anything?
Could I just ask one question?
Sure.
As residents, could we see the difference in the different paint colors you were talking about?
Yes. So here's what I handed out tonight, and here's the letter that went in, and you can keep those copies. And there's color copies of those simulations.
Thank you.
That'll stand out even more against the great trees. That darker gray does look much better in those pictures.
I'm sorry, what did you
I
say?
said the darker gray definitely looks much
Yeah,
better.
I think there's a reason why the ATA requires it, and so, we're happy to do whatever the community and what you can listen to the neighbors who think is the right way. I don't think a tree for a second looks, a tree would look good there. And I've seen one somewhere around here that's 150 feet and it looks awful. People don't like it to be that. And so, but yeah, we're happy to come back in May and finish the discussion. And if Doug has any other comments, we'll certainly respond.
He said he would comment later. He's at a conference today in Saratoga, so he said he's gonna get it as soon as you guys do.
We'll turn around a quick, anything that needs a response, we'll turn that around, and hopefully the board will be in a position in May.
Okay. All set. Okay, department committee reports, highway. What was the deal with Ralph got that call for the, you never found that washing machine?
I didn't find the washing machine.
I emailed her back Monday too, asking if she could clarify its location, if it was still there, and I haven't heard back.
I took a walk on Saturday and went up there and looked all around and between neighbors and her and couldn't see it, so
She
either
didn't
in
even
the
say
back
it was a
or.
washing machine, she called it an appliance.
Oh.
I have no idea what she was referring to.
Or somebody went and scrubbed it.
Yeah, somebody
Yeah.
might grab it.
Yeah.
I would have if I got there first.
Well, we tried.
All right.
It's all washed.
Yeah, the other thing, there was a tree fell on Muriel Peterson Drive. By the time I got there, somebody cut it off, I don't know where it was, it did, right across from his house. Slayers. Good sized tree, branch.
You're bad in zero this week, huh?
I'm missing out on everything. Except tax returns. Missing out. Hopefully they're done in the office. Okay, let's see. Code enforcement, building inspector report. 3 permits issued, or total permits 3, permits issued 3, $622 collected. Building inspections 14, zoning review 1. Checkbook balance is 2446. Working on planning and zoning is needed, usual appeal. Doing plans. Okay, we're probably gonna have to get involved, might run into the next meeting, but the top is Waynesboro Road there. What did he say? Tommy just told me his house that is up there. There's all garbage on the porch. And when you guys go up that way, you wouldn't see it. Right at the top of the hill where it goes into Waynesboro. Half the house is in front, right next to Lappy. Lappy's
Oh,
garages.
really?
Right at the top of the hill, the house is all got shit, it looks like the brown house there or whatever. No,
Somebody live there still?
yeah, there's, I don't know who's there.
Yeah.
Yeah, Stan Leonard called me, and they was up there a lot of times. The house is in Princetown. Stan remembers when he was building inspector. He says the house is in Princetown and Barnes and Waynesboro. It's right on top of the hill.
Code enforcement must-
We're gonna have to cite him and all this other fun stuff, and we're gonna have to end up cleaning it up and add it to his taxes. This would be time to just talk.
Who owns that?
Well,
He told me, I can't remember the name. Somebody's kid.
Do you know the address to you? House number? So
I
second
can
one.
take it out.
So more to come on that.
Yeah. Okay, water, west. Oh. All right. 832,000 gallons of water. We're using 79,000 a day. The minimum is 26. So I think the daily average is 59,000. Okay, we did have a water main break.
It was after April 1st.
Oh, was it?
This is March.
Oh, this is March, okay.
Yes,
all right,
this is
so
March.
And we always have to be.
They got fixed anyway, it's not gonna be Hill Road. That's all. Radio stuff. Just wanna read it.
No, we don't have a truck yet, right?
No, it's still
It's
on.
on order.
Oh, the truck has been ordered.
Truck is on order. It'll be coming eventually. I think they were talking, I don't, well, when this comes back in August.
Hey, Nick, you should share the good news about the school. The guys came back from the school.
What happened?
That's new. The guys went to school.
Number
Oh,
two,
yeah, I'm sorry,
three
yes.
It's
operators.
a big deal.
Our water operator, yes, our water operators went to the class and they all passed it. They're all gonna be licensed. They just gotta go before, Dr. Carlo at the county. to answer a few questions.
Well, 2 will be licensed right away, the other one has to put in his hours.
Yeah, Franklin's got to put in his time. Mike Colorado, he's got it already from Rotterdam. So we're good to go on that. Technically, that's water main breakers. There you are, Wes.
What I do?
Status of the truck.
It was ordered as of March 16th, I think it was. I got a call a week and a half ago that the delivery date for the truck was sometime around the 1st of June. And 10 days after that, the body would be put on and probably be available sometime around the 15th of June.
Okay.
That's where we're at. It's locked in on a state contract that was on the quote that you guys had all seen. So we're locked in on the price with the state contract.
Okay. Buildings and grounds. Really do less. Everything's
I don't think
on.
we've had anything since.
Any repairs next door or anything like that?
I'm getting a little overlappy. The blacktop plane's supposed to be opening up. And I'm come patch the holes. Don't have to worry about the heat. We made a joke of that today, right, Crystal?
Yeah.
Now we'll be
Now
worried
we
about
just
the air
need the AC.
conditioning.
Yeah, I know, that's what I said, as soon as we need the AC, there's a problem.
Okay, anything for the car? Oh, yeah, March, transmitted electric rate. Check the amount of 5252 was set to the chief fiscal officer of the town of Princeton on Wednesday.
It was just her monthly report, yeah.
That would
That's-
be That's you.
She makes it up to you. But
Oh, yeah,
yeah,
there's a copy of the check.
Yeah, there it is.
All right. Guess that's it on that.
nothing from the assessor this month.
Okay. Okay, Ben.
There was just one call from Rhinex Corners Road, and it was an anonymous caller. He sounded like kind of like a New York accent, so he might be kind of new in the area, and he's worried about somebody's dog. He said they sounded like they were in pain, so I went up to check it out, and the owner has 2 dogs, and they were both, one was old and the other was kind of whiny, so that's probably what he heard. And if it wasn't that, then there was chickens in the shed. That's what he was talking about. It was something in a shed, but there was a bunch of chickens in there. So,
Welcome to town.
he might be a New Yorker. You might not know chickens from dogs. I don't know. But that was all.
Okay.
They were screaming.
Screaming at him.
Yeah, they were screaming last night.
What?
Crystal?
All right, we are in the last month for property tax collection at the town level. The last day to make payments in person is Wednesday, April 29th. You can still make payments by mail as long as they're postmarked by April 30th or pay online by April 30th. After this date, all uncollected bills return over to the county for further collection. Schenectady County did announce their 2026 rabies clinic dates. We're going to post the flyer on our bulletin board here at Town Hall, but the dates are as follows. They're doing one this month, April 25th at the Schenectady High School. They're doing one Saturday, June 27th at the Schenectady County Department of Engineering and Public Works. They're doing one September 19th, also Saturday, at the Glenville Senior Citizen Center. And then they're doing their one at our Town Hall on Saturday, October 17th. It's a free service for residents. I think they charge $10 if you're not a resident, but they do want you to register. You can do so at their website or by calling Schenectady County. That's all I have.
Can we go back to the water for a minute? The corrosion control piece, we're just still waiting on the Department of Health for that?
Yeah, the report and the recommendations for the Doug Cole drew up went to New York State the end of the month. They were due by the end of March. So that letter that was approved went to them, and I've talked to Dominic, and we're still on hold until they approve it.
Yeah.
So I've started collecting generic things that we need, but until I get a go-ahead for the design, I'm not gonna do anything.
No, you can't, right?
Can't.
That's where it's at, the Department of Health. We've done Department of Health. Okay. Sorry.
That's okay.
Since you've been flushing hydrants and everything, have you done any more copper testing?
We did one copper test for Mr. Mack at 136 Birchwood Drive. It came out high. We're due for our biannual copper test in the next 2 weeks. I'm going to put out notices probably the beginning of next week for the following week. And I think it's on the 28th. We'll do the biannual 20 samples and send them in. And I'll have the results usually within about 3 weeks.
Okay, we need to have a public hearing. We're proposing to increase the base water rate usage to try to keep the system floating. No pun intended. I'm going to open the public hearing at 7:28.
So the proposed change is to go to 425 per year
Yeah, what is it?
for the first 52,000 gallons.
75 now?
But right now,
Yeah.
it's 325.
25.
325, okay. For the first 52,000,
And then
yeah. What
for
about the
the,
overage?
and then for the fee to increase $10 per year.
For the overage?
No.
No.
Or- So what, the overage is staying the same?
Leave the overage and
Well,
everything
your
the
overage
same.
will be,
$10 a thousand on the overage.
Like it
What it's
like
been.
it was, yeah,
Mhm.
okay.
but this has a $10 increase built in, so next year.
Every year.
35.
Well, that's what it should have been.
Long.
Should have been from the beginning.
Okay.
We did do that, there's just the jump from 325 to
To
4.
four,
We had
four.
$10 built in.
Right, we had the $10 built in. Unfortunately,
It wasn't enough.
it's not enough. And as I proposed back in 2021, we would have been a lot farther ahead. I mean, now you're looking at 5 years down the road, we would be right where we need to be. Because at this point in time, if we had to rehab the tanks like I did in 2020 or 2022 and rehab the wells like I did in 2021, which we're already 5 years in and it's due to be done again in another 5 years, we don't have enough capital to do it. We can't, there's no way we can do it, and we know that's coming. I mean, you look at Rooter Drive Tank right now is 26 years old. You look at Settles Hill Tank is 15 years old. It's out in the weather, it's like anything else. Everything weathers and deteriorates. The antenna already blew off prior to me taking office in January. That's gotta have new coax and new antenna put on when the weather gets better. I don't expect anybody to climb the tower the way the weather's been. But we've gotta put another antenna and replace all the coax because it's 15 years old and it's deteriorating.
So this is good.
Okay, anybody got anything? I hope I did.
I'm sorry.
7:28,
Missed it.
okay. Well, we did the comparison with other towns.
That's correct, and we're below the state average
I know.
by a long way.
The cost of the system is the same as every place else.
Nobody's complaining.
No.
Gotta be done.
Well, because either that or it's gonna end up where we have to shut the system down. We're not
Well,
gonna
you
be able to
can't,
sustain
so
it.
you can't shut it down.
Yeah, and
But
because
no one's complaining, so it's
the
good.
whole town doesn't have water, so we can't take it out of the general fund to cover it.
Correct.
So it's
We
not
have a
fair.
water system, so you can't shut it down.
I know that.
So,
It's
haha.
fantastic.
But no one's complaining, so good.
All right, okay, we've done public hearing? All right, close the public hearing at 7:31. Okay, resolutions, meeting minutes. So we resolve the meeting minutes of March 10th, regular town board meeting, I approve all that. Second?
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye. Everybody was here. Adopting local law number 1 of 2026. Local law number 1 entitled Summary of Fees, Penalties, and Service Charges will repeal and supersede law number 2. And whereas the proposed local law was introduced at the meeting of Town Council on March 10th, whereas a public hearing was duly noticed and held. So, okay, well, this is for the water, is that what we're doing?
Correct.
All right. Now therefore be resolved, the town board hereby adopts local law number 1 of 2026, which shall supersede local law number 2 of 2023, and directs that the local law be filed with the New York State Department of State. Oh, okay. We have a motion for that? What?
I'll make it.
Then, second?
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor? Aye.
I abstain.
Okay, general fund claims. It's hereby resolved the town board approves claim 5981 2026 in the amount of $16,112.01. Motion?
I'll make a motion.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Water fund claims, hereby resolved the town board approves claim 2644 of 2026 in the amount of $16,729.26. Motion? Second?
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye.
Abstain.
You abstain, okay. Jim abstains. Highway fund claims. Is hereby resolved the town board approves claim 7 and 8 of 2026 in the amount of $3,710. Is there a motion?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Highway fund transfers. Hereby resolved the town board approves a transfer in the amount of $3,710. So that's $3,710 for the general fund of the highway fund, cover claim 7 and 8 in 2026. Motion?
I'll make it.
Second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. I didn't have to go up, how many checks I signed today.
Privileges of the floor.
Yeah. Okay, privileges of the floor, open that up at 7:34.
Nick, limited access drilling that we issued a fine to back in the end of February, beginning of March, has failed to pay. I contact Access Drilling, who used the hydrant,
Yeah, what happened?
broke up to the hydrant.
Yes.
They have failed to pay so far. I contacted him today to actually talk to him, and he says, well, it's up to accounting to pay it or not. So I don't know if, at this point, I hand the attorney the bill, and you make a phone call, and we go from there.
Sounds like that's to me.
Okay.
All right.
I'll go print it out for you.
Okay. Anybody else?
Just one
Yes,
thing.
Mike. Yeah.
At the last planning board meeting, we actually sent a recommendation to adopt the new local zoning law for the town board to approve or not. Jen was there, so we just,
I asked for us to hold it till next month because I realized that there were a couple years worth of laws missing that I need to review. And so once I do that, I will let you know if I find anything else. Otherwise, we'll put it in the next.
yeah, I just wanted to bring it up just to let you guys know. Jen was obviously there, but
Yeah, okay.
let you guys know.
Yeah, I wanted to do the due diligence just to make sure.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you. That's it? Okay. See, Gary, it looks like we're gonna get out of here early. Okay, we'll close privilege of the floor at 7:36. Okay, council member comments. Should we already?
I'm not a council member, but I do have one thing to add. I know last month we talked about all the different positions under civil service for the water department, and based on the email thread that went back and forth, it looks like we need 2 positions. I understand Isla was under the weather, so I'm not really sure where those 2 stand, but
We never looked at them, Mama. We have enough positions. We just need to move people around.
we don't have enough positions. We need an assistant position.
So that's what was it?
And then we do not have an assistant position, and we need another maintenance position. And we do have to move people around.
Oh, yeah, I know
We
that.
have-
But they gotta get to
Yeah.
act together.
So until we get those 2 positions, we probably can't act on it, but I don't.
Alright.
Should be something. I don't know, is she back to work? I don't know.
Yeah, she was here today.
She was.
Yeah, we're
I was going to try to come over, but,
Yeah, it was just last week.
oh, okay.
She's still in rough shape, but she was kind of.
Yeah.
Okay, so we need those 2 positions.
If you send out the position duty statement, it's a pretty easy form. You say, see attached where.
Well, Isla usually does, takes care of it, she has for years, so it's just, we have to get those 2 positions and then, well, right, and then we also have to contact the people who are in the positions that we have to move because we have people, we have someone in a, water operator position who's not an operator, who's a maintenance person.
Atlas gonna have to take a look at whether there's a blinding list.
One of our,
She did, she provided us what they currently had.
right,
Yeah.
Well, whether there's a competitive list out there, correct?
Oh, for,
If there is, it's provided to campus, which maybe change our version.
right, so we just gotta work for that, but, you guys probably want to take care of that next month.
Along that lines, we also know that, at least in water department, and I suspect in other places in town, that the descriptions are out. The water department ones were written when they still had it classified as a B-level plant, it's being operated at a C level, so those need to be updated. I honestly think it would be good due diligence that we review all job descriptions for all the positions in town. Because that is something that I do routinely for work over the years. I would not mind being lead on that if you would like. But we'll have to get the descriptions, have I request all of them.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. Yeah, because of course, some of them were written back when we were using typewriters. I mean,
There's something wrong with that, Jen. Welcome to Princetown, that's what I say. No,
so
but
the
you're
way
right, they
things are
need to
being
be
done,
updated.
and, yeah,
Or maybe they don't, but they should be reviewed.
yes.
Anyway, that's all I have.
Anybody else? That's good.
oh, the IT. The IT company wants to do a periodic review, we do them quarterly. Lou had me do the last one by myself, and it wasn't appropriate, like they discuss fees, they discuss the services they're providing, so I really would like to have a board member or somebody sit with me for the next one. He's very open in his schedule, so I thought, you guys can decide. Jim was, used to be the lead on IT previously, so.
Right, and if we can do virtual, that would be.
It is.
Oh,
It's a-
it is.
It's a
okay.
Teams meeting,
I'm,
yeah.
I'm happy to join it if needed.
Depending on what it is. I
Right.
would be fine
He,
doing
all he
it.
said is he just needed like a week's heads up because he puts a presentation together. It takes about 30 minutes, so.
Okay. Maybe we'll talk after and just see what's good.
Okay.
Wednesday's the only day that I cannot. Mondays or Tuesdays are good for me.
I just need to know ahead of time.
And then you have the meeting with the USDA guy in Wes. We scheduled it for the end.
22nd
22nd.
at 10 a.m.
I'll text you the time.
Here.
That's just,
Here.
What is this?
we have an annual inspection with the
Oh.
USDA officer for our loans. They come and they look at all the water plants, they look at the building.
Okay, you told me about that.
Yeah, it's just to make sure everything's maintained.
That's the 22nd.
22nd at 10 a.m.
Okay.
That's next Wednesday, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah.
Have fun, guys.
Another topic, I wish Bill were here tonight, but I think it would be wise for us to get on a schedule to look at our providers for things like our internet support and we already did phone a couple years ago. Thank you, Ben, for all the work you did on that for the last year and a half, 2 years. Oh, okay. Well, you had done a lot of research, I know that. But I think we need to start looking at those things more routinely, like any business typically would do. So I think we should start looking at what kind of schedule should we be doing and pick one each year that we're gonna go through and look at what else is out there.
I mean, honestly, my recommendation would be to do it prior to budget time. So if you're gonna make a change or you see what's
Right,
out
that
there
way
and you wanna make a change, then you'll know
Yeah.
what to put in the budget to be ready to roll for June.
Yeah. Engineering and IT are the two at the top of the list in my mind, because those are the ones I know of, outside of phones, so. I mean, I would not recommend doing both of them in the same year before a budget, but I think if we could do one year and do the other the next, and then put them on a cycle.
We start budget review in August, so like it's right around the corner. really.
Right. I mean, everything should be looked at, so.
I mean, I don't know with Bill's background if that's something he would be interested in kind of taking the lead on, so we can table it for now, but I just wanted to bring it up. Just to see what the group thinks.
I can get you guys a list too of at least like who they.
Vendors.
Yeah.
Yep.
Speaking of budget related, sorry, I'm gonna take over for a few minutes. Crystal, with did we get the Amazon account set up?
No,
Okay.
I was never able to do it. They,
Really? Through NAB?
right.
Yeah, that's weird.
I didn't look very far into it, but they just contacted back and said that we didn't apply or there wasn't anything. Something with our EIN, because we're tax exempt, that it got kicked back, but it was very unclear on how to proceed forward. I'm sure that tax exempt organizations have Amazon funds, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, because once that's set up, I do think it would be wise for us to look at what they would charge for some of the, like the cleaning supplies and stuff that we're getting from Granger and Staples right now.
Nora has been taking it upon herself to shop herself. She's been getting things at Walmart or BJ. We do have BJ, but she, rather than ordering, has done that and we reimbursed her. She uses the tax exempt certificates.
Okay, that's it. Everybody good? Are you good? All right, I'll make a motion to adjourn then. All right, I'll make a motion second.
I'll second.
All right, all in favor? Aye. And then we adjourned at 7:44.